Hi, Neeru. It's a pleasure to welcome you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure for me to be, talking to you. You've been working on this for so long.
Thank you. No, I enjoy talking to leaders who have done amazingly well, and you belong to a generation that has come here in a time when Indians were not recognized as much. You had to work really hard to prove yourself time and again to do what you're doing now and become an accomplished leader in your own right. Besides your husband being Neeru Khosla, you have carved out your own path and have become a trailblazer in that, and now you're empowering and influencing a lot of younger generation around you. So we are grateful that you have been a shining example to people like us and the generation that came after me. My question is about the application of AI. It is a big buzzword happening around. We all want to dive into it without knowing what to get out of it, but we don't want to be left behind. And you are doing a fabulous cause for so many years. I wanted to first understand the scope of your organization, that how it has been impacting, and then we'll talk about how you can leverage AI to impact it more and influence at scale.
Yeah, so it's always when something this fundamental comes along that's going to shift the earth underneath you. It's pretty daunting and uncertain. So when I started my organization about 18 years ago, we were trying to figure out how to scale education meaningfully, because small schools don't scale. So we said, okay, let's start doing this in a way that can happen scaling. So we knew technology was coming along, and we said, let's do a tech scale. But there was nothing for younger kids on tech. Everything was a PDF or really bad versions of content. And we said, oh, Wikipedia. But young kids can't use Wikipedia or understand the language there. So we started building the content ourselves. Now, what has happened during those 18 years, a lot of technology changes, a lot of changes in implementation policies, etc., etc. And we've had to kind of constantly be on top. You're impacted no matter what you do. These external forces, competition, policy, cost, etc., always impact you. And the way I've thought about this is not to feel like you're the expert. I've always told the team, go figure out what we need to do. When you give people that responsibility, they actually rise up. My CTO right now, last 13 years came from McGraw-Hill. And he came in and he did something online for me, and I looked at him and I said, is that all you want to do? I said, Neeru, go do whatever you think is the most important thing to do. And we did. And it changed the whole way we do things, because we can use technology in the right, responsible way. And it's if you want me to describe it, I can. It was more about, we need to make sure that we can figure out where the student is. Very often the teacher doesn't have the time. Technology really helps us. We can figure out what they need, what they're missing, what their misconceptions are, what they're not understanding. We can do that today because of the tools we have. In order to do that, our internal structures had to change. Our internal ways of working had to change. They had to become very quick. And because these processes had been shortened, very often in an organization, you're waiting for one group to finish what they're doing so that you can work with them to do right. That's a waste of time. And very often I would write on the whiteboard, look, this chunk of time we can save, chuck it out, if we have technology that has the information of what happened with what that team was doing. So the next team can build on it and not waste time waiting for them to come do it with them. So in essence, long answer.
No, that's good. What we also would like to understand is its impact. You start as an experiment and it has flourished. And when we talk about impact, not only here, but how do you see that roll out, for example, a huge country and the biggest population in the world called India, where I think this will be so much more beneficial to them?
Yes. I think the biggest challenge in education is the student not knowing where they stand. They're either passing, doing well, or they're failing because they're not meeting up, they didn't get the right answer. But we ask the question, why did you not? What was it that you didn't answer that made you fail? So if we can individualize, which is what we do, for each student, we tell them where they missed something, didn't understand it. We can pinpoint it and then move them forward. It's amazing to watch. We have over 365 million users since 2015. Before that, we had smaller amounts because K-12 didn't have technology or the connectivity in the US. Now we have numbers. We have now 30 million per year. But last 2 years, we put out our AI-based tutor. That tutor has 9 months each, 30 million students asking questions, 140 million questions, something like that. And each of those questions, from day one, we started categorizing. Is this conceptual question? Is it a process question? Is it, what kind of question is it? So we categorize them, and the most important thing we found out that with the AI and the ability to chat with the students, talk to them, we can figure out exactly where they are. If a student says, hey, how come the sun burns when there's no oxygen up in the air? We know exactly that this child is mixing nuclear energy reaction with chemical reaction. And then we can help fix that. These curiosity questions are the most important, and that's what makes these children want to learn more. If you can grab their curiosity, their critical thinking, not just getting the right answer, right? We can stepwise get them to where they need to be.
A more philosophical thought. We talk about people around the world being food insecure. I think it's very important to look at how they're education insecure. Not that they do not have access to education, but the right kind of education which will open up their minds in the way that will enable and empower them to be economically self-sufficient. And that is the importance of education. If we don't provide that, then obviously we are doing a disservice.
Absolutely. And that's what I was getting at in my previous answer. Really all about, it's not about just getting the right answer, not rote learning, but actually what is the purpose of this particular concept you're learning, right? If you think about anything, look around you in real world, there is not a single thing that depends on one concept, right? It depends on multiple concepts coming together. And we just don't do that anymore. We just say, okay, velocity is movement of cars, or whatever like this, right? But it's more about why does it matter? What will you do with it? That should be the real purpose of education. So they're feeling like they're going to contribute something, make something, no matter what level they do it at. There's some personal satisfaction. That's how education has to change. And today we have the tools. The last piece that was missing is the ability to know right in the moment what is happening in the student's mind. Right? On a paper, they got their answer right or wrong. On a classroom, could they work with others and very often the loudest mouth said the most. This ways we can know exactly each child and help them overcome what holds them back.
Finally, wanted to get your thoughts on how you think, your solutions and your programs can impact students in India.
Yeah, so I think the problem with India is that not every child has the luxury of a parent who can spend time with them, helping them learn, helping them, figure out what went wrong. Because the parents themselves may not know, right? And so when that's the case, very often it's very difficult for kids to learn. This is where a personal tutor, which is free, which is available 24/7. Now, of course, there's going to be some partnerships that need to happen, like with the government, they're going to have to step up, or other big organizations that can offer for education free, cost. Usually the cost is of a device, cost of electricity. And the way we've created our platform, we've kind of created a relationship between the student and at every moment. And there's a consistency so we can catch things as they're making progress or not, and help them there. They don't have to feel like they're dumb in front of everyone. So if we can help every child, poor, rich, whatever, to have someone to help them every moment, that's what we offer. And that's how we will help the country. Because you need these young people for the ambition we have, with the AI, with the India wanting to own a lot of that. And so you're going to need the skill sets. And I think it's really important to start kids right in young age. That's why I do K-12.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think what started as, helping one child at a time, it's now grown in multitudes. And I think India would be a great beneficiary if this goes in there, because there are so many towns and villages and big cities. It's required everywhere. And I'm, more than positive that this will be of great benefit to them. Neeru, thank you for waiting patiently, for your generosity with time. Really appreciate it. Was very important to talk to you for a fabulous cause that you have built over the years. It's my pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for making me feel like I'm worth.
You are. You're more than that. Thank you again.
Thank you. You too.